Well, we are talking a lot about The Voice, but how is it playing into the popularity of the two leaders, in particular Peter Dutton? Joining me now is Essential Media Managing Director Peter Stahel to explain some of the numbers behind The Voice, and we'll also delve into the state results, which have surprised me a little bit, Peter. Let's begin, though, on Peter Dutton. His popularity at the moment as opposition leader. Look, he's not popular. It strikes me his numbers are not dire right now, though, and there's still a big chunk of unknown. How's he tracking, I guess, compared to your normal sort of opposition leader a year or so into the job?
Yeah, it's absolutely right that an opposition leader, in particular towards the beginning of their term in opposition, will really struggle with approval ratings. It's a pretty blunt instrument, which is why we kind of mix it up with favourability ratings occasionally. The bad news for the opposition leader, though, however, is that when you compare it to the Prime Minister's ratings when he was opposition leader, sort of from 2019 onwards, this kind of net negative rating of, I think it's 8%, is worse than the current Prime Minister was at his worst, looking back a couple of years ago. So the opposition leader will be looking to improve these numbers to put him and the coalition in a sort of election-winning position.
Yeah, so add them up, 36 to 44. The 21 don't know. They're always higher for an opposition leader. They're probably the big cohort he needs to try to win over and at least get closer to net zero, if you pardon the pun there. Interesting to note as well, because I think it's going to be quite defining. It could be the voice for Peter Dutton. So if it does fail and he's seen as a big reason for it, what will voters think? And that's what I find interesting about this next bit of polling, that they're about split as to whether they think this is just politics or whether this is about genuine concerns.
Yeah, look, those numbers would be an election-winning position, but it's not enough to kind of really concretely say, oh, there's a national mood that explains this. It's pretty split. It was a forced choice question, so we didn't give people the option of, being unsure or having a different view. So that needs to be remembered. I think we're kind of yet to get into the guts of the campaign, and I think we'll see a couple of things happen. I think people will have stronger views about the motivations of the players as they get to know them, as they see them in the media, as they see the arguments presented. And I think we'll continue also to see a hardening of people's positions. So you mentioned don't knows. Yes, they're still high with this question as well. And the soft supporters or soft opponents, as we sometimes call them, are likely to firm in their views. And the closer we get to the referendum date, we'll be talking to a narrower group of people who are yet to make up their mind.
Yeah. Look, so many people sort of say, what is this? When you talk to them about The Voice so far, they get the broad brushstrokes, but not much else. Let's talk through support. So you're doing this month by month. It's steady across the nation at a pretty reasonable level. I was really surprised, though, that we saw a huge surge of support for in Queensland and then against in Victoria.
Yeah, I was too. And this will be one to watch very closely to see if it develops into a trend. So it's possible that some slight adjustments have been exaggerated by a margin of error. And if that's the case, we'll likely see a correction next month. However, these numbers do tend to bring both Queensland and Victoria back into line with the national average. So, we'll be very interested to see.
We'll bring them up actually for our viewers. So Queensland going up to actually a net in front here, 55 to 45. But you can see there the +6. So they've gone from 49 to 55. That was the first surprising part. But the other one, Victoria, which we always assume if there's one big state that's going to carry this, a more progressive state, Victoria, it's at 56 but -11. So that's the figure you're going to keep an eye on out if that was a bit of an outlier, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. The reason we don't publish the numbers for the smaller states here, which can give a little bit more context, is because the size of the poll doesn't allow a really accurate comparison. So we need to always look at the trend line rather than reading too much into a single result.
All right. Well, we'll keep looking at the trend, and you will too. Peter Stahel from Essential Media, thank you.